Hello, Paige here, founder of PageantLive with the wonderful Mrs. United Nations, Tes Scanlon, in Annapolis, Maryland. Tes, we heard that the Mrs. United Nations pageant is one of the most prestigious events around the world. So tell us, what makes your system so unique?
Well, I think it's unique in many ways. First of all, there's 6 different categories. We have a Miss Teen, a Miss, a Ms., and a Mrs. for ladies, but also we have 2 gentlemen's categories. We have Mr. Teen and Mr. United Nations. And I have to say, the guys were so much fun. They really made the event so different. They stayed in a separate hotel for any moms in the teen division. You know, we didn't have any of those problems, but they really made it fun. And when we were doing community service projects out in the bush in Jamaica, you know, they were doing the heavy lifting and, you know, really taking care of the ladies. So it was really fun.
Wow, and I can honestly say I don't really think I've ever heard of kings being crowned. Can you tell us a little inside scoop? What did they have to do when competing?
Well, they had the same categories that we had, but certainly, you know, I think it's easier to just choose a snappy tux and so forth. The way they work the cameras are different. You know, they try to look, if I can use the word, studly. You know? and you know, I think they also have their charity projects and so forth, as we did. But they were just phenomenal and such a different sense of fun to a pageant that I had never experienced before.
Wow, that's great. But enough about the men. We want to know about you. What made you want to compete in the United Nations pageant?
Well, I had competed at Mrs. Universe last year as Mrs. North America, and unfortunately while I was there in Kuala Lumpur I had an accident. I fell and I broke my hand terribly. So, and actually it was while I was on stage in evening gown, so luckily I was very close to the getting off the stage and it wasn't on camera, but I had to come back and I had 5 breaks in my hand and so I just didn't feel like I left on the best note that I could have, and I wanted to compete one more time. And I saw all the community service that was going on with the Mrs. United Nations and the United Nations system, and so that kind of drew me in one more time.
Wow. Well, I'm sure that you are very happy you decided to compete once again. I've heard that the Mrs. United Nations pageant is very community service driven. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and the values that you think are important?
Absolutely. During the interview process, they really do focus completely on your community service. So it was really interesting. It really wasn't about whether you had an MBA or how many times you competed in pageants. There were actually conductors who said that this was their first time and they weren't the perfect cookie cutter pageant contestant that everyone thinks of. And I think that the director really prides himself on bringing forward strong women in a wide variety of skills. And for us, when we were down in Jamaica, we went out into the bush and went to the Robert Light Bowen High School, which was about 3 hours outside of Kingston. And I'm saying in the bush, I mean in the bush. And we painted 10 of the rooms in the classrooms. I was in charge of the crew because I happen to be a rehabber. I love doing work on homes, so I was in charge of the crew that did the computer room, which was the only room that actually had glass windows. The other rooms are all just open slats, and you know, nature comes in and it blows through, and it you know, does wear and tear on the building. So again, we came to 10 rooms there, and then another day we went to the I'm trying to think, but it's called the Jamaican Boys Home, and it's 22 working boys, and we actually did an international cook-off for them. So we had women from all over the world and men, and actually Mr. India won the entire competition for the food, but I was second runner-up. I made the boys s'mores after I made a crab dish for the adults. I made s'mores, and the boys just loved it. And I think it brought them joy, and I have a young man that I will probably adopt, you know, in a way. I can't adopt him personally, but I can support him through through his years there at the home until he moves on and hopefully getting into college.
Wow, well it sounds like you really had an amazing experience there. So can you tell us, since your reign has just began, what do you plan to do with your crown?
Well, as you can see, it's a heavy crown. I plan on using it for promotion of the charities. I mean, that's really what it's all about. I am working with Dr. Q for their calling, and it's an event on October 9th for raising funds for brain surgery. He does events down in Mexico and Peru, and I believe he's going to a couple other South American countries this year where they do brain surgeries at no charge. It's kind of like Doctors Without Borders. So I like to help and help them raise their funds there. And as I said, I'll be traveling around the world and supporting the charities of the countries that are there. Mrs. Mexico, who is now the United Nations ambassador, she lives in Qatar because her husband is a pilot there, and she has a wonderful organization called Queens Without Scars, which is based on domestic violence and trying to educate women to give them the strength to walk away from a bad relationship and protect their family.
That's really amazing. So what do you hope to leave as your legacy, being Mrs. United Nations?
I think that being able to compete at the age of 55 and take an international title kind of speaks for itself. That a lot of women just feel like they get to a certain age and they can't be involved in these types of things anymore. So I think that probably that's what I'll be most recognized for at this point. I'd love to leave a legacy that, you know, we made a difference. We made a difference in people's lives all around the world.
And I know for all of you watching, she does not look 55. She is just absolutely stunning on camera and in person. So this beautiful crown that you have, I've never seen anything like this. Can you tell us a little bit about all the colors and what they represent in the crown?
Absolutely. It is a representation of the 7 continents. And the goal is to always have representation all around the world and to have leaders and spokespeople that can not only work with the charities but bring tourism to their areas, because that's a big part of pageantry also. So of course you've got the turquoise, which represents water, the pearl at the top represents mountains, and you know, the browns and reds are different land types and different colors of people all around the world also.
That's really amazing. It's such a beautiful crown. I've really never seen one like that.
It is very good.
So we just want to get to know a little bit about the woman behind the crown and sash. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the hills of western Massachusetts in the Berkshires, and I was a foster child until I was the age of 5. I went from the ages of 1 to 5, and when we got back together, I have 3 older sisters. We spent pretty much every weekend with my grandmother and great-grandmother, and we raised puppies and we raised food. So we had, my great-grandmother actually used to take the ponies and put them behind the old-fashioned plow, and that's how she plowed, and we sold puppies, we did pony rides, we sold corn, and you know, just like the roadside stands that we see all around the island. So that was my childhood.
Wow. She just keeps amazing me. Question after question. Can you describe yourself in one word for us?
I guess at this point in my life, with what I've gone through, I would say unstoppable.
So can you tell us a little bit of what has made you the woman that you are today and why you are so unstoppable?
Well, when we moved to Annapolis 6 years ago, within a few weeks I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and it was severe, and I was immediately put in ICU, and I've had 3 additional brain surgeries since then. So I've learned so much about how important it is to appreciate everything you have and also to share everything that you have with others. And I think that's why I am unstoppable now.
And I just feel very blessed to be being able to sit and talk with Mrs. United Nations here today. So can you tell us how our viewers can get a hold of you or where they can follow you and see what you're doing with your crown?
Of course, there's Facebook websites. Of course, on Facebook it's Tes with one S, T-E-S, Scanlon, and Mrs. United Nations 2015 on Facebook. You can email me at Scanlon, which is Scanlon at AOL.com. And I'd be glad, I would love to work with anyone that needs a spokesperson. I plan to do a lot with this title, and that means it's going to be expensive. So if anyone is looking for a spokesperson and would love to sponsor any of my trips, I would so appreciate it. Thank you.
And in closing, we always love to give our guests a few minutes on the mic. Is there anything that you would like the audience to know?
I think another reason why I'm so unstoppable is because I am so happily married. My husband and I met at ESPN in 1979 when it first started, and actually today there was one of those little IQ test type things on Facebook, and it came up with tell us about your first kiss. And I reminisced on my own and put photos up about the car he had and the first kiss we had, and to think that in October we'll have been together for 37 years. It's pretty amazing. Really amazing.
Well, it has been such a pleasure talking today with Mrs. United Nations, and I'm sure that she will be on Pageant Live sometime soon. So make sure that you follow her on her Facebook page and her website. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.